Okay, so what do you think makes this love story different? Would you define it as a love story straight away?
I think it's 5 love stories or so, you know. I think it's about all the permutations and the complications of love, and including how complicated marriage can be.
And do you think it's dealing with like contemporary issues? I mean, I get people like talking about my body clock all the time. In fact, yesterday someone talked about it. Is it contemporary for like this period now, do you think?
I think it's very much a movie about our particular confusion as women, just at this moment, young women who are trying to decide how they're going to have children, if they're going to have children. You know, there's so many different ways of having a family now.
And the cast is absolutely amazing. I mean, were there people that you had in your mind for the characters when you wrote the script or when you wrote the screenplay?
I didn't dare do that because it's so disappointing if people can't do it. But the minute I had a really valid first draft, we went to Julianne Moore and Greta Gerwig, and then we built in Ethan Hawke and Maya and Bill. You know, we sort of built the cast bit by bit. And now looking back on it, I feel like I couldn't imagine anyone else playing those parts.
And how was working with Greta? Because it seems very in keeping with like her specific brand of how she kind of writes as well.
Working with Greta was great. She didn't collaborate on actually writing the screenplay, but she was wonderfully present in terms of we worked together for a whole year for her characterizations. You know, things like how does she move, that she's a Quaker, that's something that we came to together, and all her little, what filled up the character.
And was it always kind of natural for you to go down like an avenue of writing? Was your household obviously very, very literary, and was that always something you were always going to do?
Well, I was a painter to start with, although I had written short stories before, so it was between really studying writing and studying painting, and I went for painting, which I'm very glad I did, actually. It trained me as a visual artist, and I think it's better to live a little before you become a writer anyway.
And was your household very, very literary? I mean, do you have moments of remembering your dad reading to you and all that kind of thing?
To a degree, although mostly what I learned was just the work ethic of getting up and doing your own work every day.
And now, do you and your husband talk shop? Is that something that you bring your projects together, or is it quite separate? Do you keep it separately?
He's a good reader, but I mean, there's so much else to do in life, you know, like we have kids and life, and so it's mostly life.
And talking about your set, obviously, do you have a lot of females working with you on like the crew and the cast? Obviously, people talk a lot about female directors, but behind the scenes, is that still a problem as well?
Well, you know, I've had a mix of crews where some of them, like Personal Velocity, was almost entirely female heads of department. This one was a mix. Like I had a male cinematographer, but I had many women working on the crew as well. So it's a bit of a mix of heads of department. I tend to have a few more women involved, but I just hire the best people. I really like to have a mix of men and women.
And what do you think can be done to kind of have more women working in the industry? Is there any like specific steps people can take, do you think?
I think that there are unconscious prejudices that I think people do have to kind of become more aware of. And at the same time, I'm against any kind of quota situation. I think that nobody wants to be hired because of a quota.
And finally, what's next for you? Are you obviously promoting this film and it's being released over here soon, is it?
Yes, it's July 8th it's being released here. Yeah. So I'm just promoting the film. I've been doing that since September. And it's out in the States. It's doing well in the States. And now I'm ready to do something else.
Excellent. Well, lovely to talk to you.
Okay, good to talk to you.